Let's go to line number 4. Good morning, Jim Learning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm not too bad today, thank you. How are you?
Patty, I want to talk about Muskrat Falls, of course, as usual. What else? Gilbert Bennett, all through the hearings, JRP hearings, made it a point to say that there would be no downstream effects. Now, we had that discussion yesterday, day before yesterday, and downstream effects, of course there are downstream effects. And why was he not straight up with that? And yesterday when he spoke to CBC, he went out of his way. It's a lot of talk, but nothing as usual, because the man is a spin doctor, absolutely incarnate. Anyway, he said that Nalcor would mitigate any problems. He didn't say that, I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing it. Would mitigate any problems with mercury, methyl mercury in the fish, meaning that he would tell the people when conditions were unsafe and they could stop eating it at that time, or tell them how much they could eat. Here's a natural resource that flows down to the Bin Rivulet, takes it full face on, and anybody in Mud Lake and all of us along the river who fish that river, that we now have to give that up as a food source. So where in the world is food security in that? And our Aboriginal leaders have hollered at them and called and did, tried to block that, the whole thing. Nothing. They're disregarded. As a matter of fact, they're being treated rather shamefully, I think, regarding especially the Nunavut. I mean, some of their people in this area here who are born and raised here can't hunt or fish here anymore without license privilege of the province. So they've given up their rights. This is the way governments treat Aboriginal peoples. So again, there's no power. There is no power, and there's a damn liar in the seat of the government. Patty, I'm sorry for going on, but why is the Premier not coming out and addressing this? Just like Grassy Narrows, just like the Fort Chipewyan, we just have to suffer the poison.
Let me ask you fair ball. Let me ask you a couple of questions, Jim, and these are out of the position of ignorance. I don't know the answers. What are the environment? This is a good question coming from Josh. What are the environmental similarities between the Upper Churchill and Muskrat? Is it just a similar ordeal and different scale, or is there anything different that we could learn and do better from the Upper Churchill? Give us that comparison, if you can, indeed.
I really think there's no comparison, because the Upper Churchill was huge. I mean, you got a 2,000 square mile lake up there that was created by the penstocks when they backed the water up, or the dams or dikes when they backed the water up and flooded that whole area. But simply
same issues, but different scale. Simple as that. No more, no less.
Oh, absolutely. And what Muskrat does, of course, is add to it. That's a killing point. It just adds to it. And these guys going in full well what is, they just said, like the North Spur, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. Never mind the people, they mean nothing. There's only 27,000 of them there, and they said no to it, but as the government, we're saying yes. So what's the point in even voting for something like this? I don't mean to get political, but
actually political is where this lands. I mean, that's it. In a nutshell, it's a political initiative that was given to a Crown corporation to do on behalf of the provincial government. I mean, that's how this works. And you say that the Premier should speak out. Once the sanction is given for hydroelectric development on the Churchill River or anything else or anywhere else, the environmental sensitivities will be well understood. And people will talk about mitigation, and they'll talk about a variety of measures that they can take to protect the environment. So what do you expect the Premier to come out and say? The green light has been given. There's been no turning back. They haven't addressed even any of the cost overruns or scheduling or anything to derail the plan. So why would the environment be different? And what do you expect from the Premier?
That's really easy, because the top of this pyramid is responsible for the last decision to sanction. So he should come on, or whoever it is, should come on and tell us, we've decided to poison your water, you're irrelevant, you really don't mean that too much to us, we'll try to get you some groceries in Rigolet since you can't go to Sobeys, we'll do the best we can for you. At least tell us that much, because that is exactly where this comes down. That's what makes this whole scene so stupid. I mean, here we are, Labrador being ripped apart environmentally. Now, double-wide transmission lines, more tore down 101 to pour onto that, more junk going into the rivers, but at least the Premier, would we not feel a little bit easier if they come on and said, we'll do the best we can for you in mitigation, make sure you're being monitored, and instead of that we get this spin doctor lackey, Bennett, who just keeps coming on yapping off about it.
Well, I mean, how you choose to refer to Gilbert Bennett is absolutely entirely up to you. And okay, I mean, I think we've had these question and answer sessions with the Premier, and he's offered similar sentiment as to what you're hoping you would. So I don't know if that'll make any difference. And as I think you have pointed out in the past, and I've soon learned that it's absolutely true. How to say it out of mind is a real state of being in this province, and what happens to Labrador is not as impactful, nor does it get as much credence or conversation on the island, and vice versa. When it comes to things like the dam safety, the integrity of the structure, the dangers downstream, and the flood plan, and the evacuation plans, there's been a bit of back and forth on that too. I mean, I don't know if there's a requirement for an updated approach to and an updated report on evacuation and flooding and the integrity of the dam itself. Is that a area of concern that as big as some people are telling me it is?
Of course it is. I mean, there's mud lakes sitting downstream. Picture in the spring when the ice is breaking up, there's ice all over the place, and the North Spur fails. What chance do you think those people would have of it ever being found? There wouldn't be a sliver of wood found anywhere, or any trees along that south part of the river. There would be nothing. It would be destroyed. And, of course, the lower valley would be flooded as well. But, yes, absolutely. So, like Jim Gordon said, that this is not a good idea. And Dr. Bernander said the same thing. You heard him. And more to the point, they said, no, damn all that. We're just rolling the dice. It could happen in 2 hours. Like I say, 2 hours, 2 years, 2,000 years. You're building your house on a volcano. When she goes, she goes.
Jim, the issue, and I went, as you know, I attended Dr. Bernander's presentation at the LSPU Hall, and I read Mr. Gordon's comments. When Nalcor brings in what, I think when I look up the credentials and the resume of the people they brought in to be their experts on glacial clay, marine clay, the North Spur, and those professional people with track records and international recognition, we can compare Mr. Gordon and Bernander and all these people if that's what it boils down to. But when they hire people who have the professional credentials and they give it a thumbs up for approach and tact and the process used, why are some people so immediately convinced that those people would jeopardize their reputation and they have no love or affiliation with Nalcor and or the government? Why do you think that is, and why wouldn't we trust these people?
Well, the last word goes to the government. They sign off on it just because the engineers gave them the nod. No, I don't accept any of that. I don't. Because here we are side by side with those experts, Gordon and Bernander, and it is what it is. It's 1,000 feet of pug, and there's no bottom in it. The foundation is on top. That's supposed to make us feel good? No, there's something still wrong. Engineers fail. Look at the iron ring.
But if that's true, if that's true, then why all of a sudden is Dr. Bernander infallible? And that's my question, because I think that's become one of the contention. But how come we have latched on people who are opposed to the project? And this is not a personal thing between you and I, and you know that. I mean, why are we taking what Bernander says or James Gordon says as the be-all and end-all, and rejecting the other professionals in the field who have had the updated look at it? I just wonder why we've gone down that road of accepting one point of view, rejecting in full the other, and whether or not that's got us any further ahead.
You're packing a parachute, you're getting in an airplane. Experts packed your parachute, you get in, you trust it. It can still fail.
Well, sure, but I don't need an engineer to tell me that.
You're going to get them, because I'll tell you what, that's exactly the politics of this project. It's total politics. I mean, I'm not going to go into the graft situation of all this. You know it as well, probably better than I do, and a lot more people. But it's still the same situation. Spend the damn money, put the people to work. Never mind what the end result's going to be. People poisoned, people drowned, possibility of either or. Just do it. So that's what we're up against here as a small population. I'll tell you what, if you put St. John's in any kind of jeopardy downstream from it, you'd get a call back that would stop you.
I see now. I think as someone living in St. John's, I don't know if that's true because I can't put myself in your shoes or your life experience or your experience with government. Because, to be honest with you, I think a lot of Downies would think, I don't think I seem to get much extra treatment and/or consideration. But maybe we're just living in our own fantasy world, and I can't possibly remove myself from my own life experience. But I accept your point of view on it. Anything else you want to say this morning, Jim? Before I take a break.
No, I just want to say, if you move your feet close to the fire, then you begin to change your mind. Thanks, Patty.
Appreciate your time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Jim Learning, calling from Labrador this morning, has been long concerned with the project on a variety of issues. Of course, we've talked a lot about the environmental sensitivities of hydroelectric development with Mr. Learning. Certainly the North Spur issue is not going away. The requirement of an updated flood plan when and if there's a problem with the integrity of the dam on the Churchill River. I mean, these are things that are hard to argue with when I'm a lay person. I'm not an engineer. I'm not an expert in any regard, certainly not with dam integrity or the environmental issues. But I've tried to read from all sides, and the questions I've posed about why we trust one person and not another, and Mr. Learning offered his opinion on that, and it's... someone's got to be right, don't they? It can't be all a crapshoot, is it? Unbelievable.